Today is September 3rd, 2018, and I haven't done a video in quite a while, so I thought I would touch base on a couple of things that I'm currently experiencing. The thing that's the top of my head is my face. I hear people say all the time that I look different and they wouldn't recognize me from before, and I just thought people were kind of just saying that. Maybe they hadn't seen me in a while, or I don't know. I guess I didn't really stop to think about it. I didn't think facial hair would actually be the telling sign of that much change. But recently I haven't been working very much. Anybody that knows where I work right now, we are going through a bit of a crisis, and so my work has shifted, and where I'm currently at is being off a lot, and that's totally okay with me. I work for a wonderful establishment, so I'm not by any means suffering, but it's given me some time to really spend looking into myself and interacting with people and making more connections, and being able to be with family and friends more, and really getting their feedback on things and their reflection. And I guess what I did last night was, after I had a barbecue here at my house for close family and friends, I looked at the pictures and I compared them to pictures that maybe I took with them 5 to 10 years ago, and I see what they're talking about. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with weight. Weight definitely impacts the way you appear to people. But overall, my complexion is not as light as it used to be. I've gained color on there. My face is not as round. But again, I kind of attribute that, I guess if I go back, and maybe I'll do that before I release this video, to when I was 20 years old and I was only 150 pounds. I don't believe my face was quite as round then either, so it could just be that when I lost the weight, I lost the roundness, which is more of a feminine attribute to have. So collectively it was different. My hairline, I've noticed, is thinning right here and right here. So I can literally tell when I'm combing my hair that right here it's not there. But fortunately, and I pray, my hair will actually not thin at the top. But it might be a side effect. I did have an opportunity to work at the new location, like I mentioned in my last video that I uploaded, and the interactions are very different, and in the transition world we call it stealth, meaning that we go into a scenario and we don't have to disclose that we have transitioned from our born sex into the sex that we identify as. So as I mentioned before, when I went back to work after my surgery over a year ago, that was me feeling that I needed to explain and kind of bring these people along with me, where now I'm in a position when I am at work to just walk in as Felix, and there's no explanation needed. And I say needed in my responsibility. I feel that people in my life at some level, to avoid awkwardness and to avoid the impression that I may be embarrassed, maybe, or reluctant might be another word, to disclose that I'm transgendered, I bring it out, and I'd rather it be on the table and explain it to you. Maybe not in much detail, but just to explain. I transition, I go by Felix now, and I'm very happy. Most people just understand. Where I'm at now for my job, I don't have to explain it. People just kind of accept it. They accept it because there's no necessary. I'm just Felix. There's no explanation needed, really. So I can understand now after seeing both sides of the lines, how people could just go stealth. Meaning, in the future, if I find someone and I'm in a relationship, or I find myself in a position to work at a different establishment, just going and not disclosing my past, other than when necessary, like on a employment application, or something else that says any other names used as an alias. It's just so much easier. It's not that you're ashamed, it's just after a while it's just redundant to explain it and have to disclose it. So I've gotten to the point where I can respect when men go stealth. I also recognize it's much easier for men to go stealth versus trans women, just because of the way our bodies can get bigger and shaped differently, where a lot of men, they don't transition until they're fully grown, and they can't shrink their shoulder, and they cannot erase their Adam's apple, without surgery, and they can't shrink. Most men are taller. Men come in all different shapes and sizes, so even if I would have been 5'4", it wouldn't have been unusual. I'm fortunately between 5'7", about 5'7", I'll say, and I just kind of go into the world this way. I did see a friend of mine that I worked with when I was like 20 years old, and she didn't recognize me, and it was very startling to me, because I keep saying I don't feel any differently. I've always felt like I match what I am right now. So for people to literally kind of, when I go to go, hey, what's up, and they kind of back away, like, who's this guy? I'm like, well, and I just say, well, I used to be this person, and I would go by Felix now. You haven't heard about that? Oh yeah, I did hear that. Oh my God, you look so much different, and it's just the interaction is so humbling, really, because it's just amazing. So I guess my point of my video is, if you're transitioning, be prepared to visually wake up one day and notice you look like a completely different person. I'm looking at pictures right now because I have this on one of my shelves, and it's amazing. It's just, you just got to be ready for the changes you are physically and visually going to see your body go through, and it takes me back. It makes me really process the things that I'm going through and the way the rest of my life is going to unfold. Something very unusual and hard to talk about, but that a lot of trans men have to go through as well, is when you go to the doctor. I haven't had any surgeries to remove all of my female parts, but they are pushing me to do these doctor's appointments to ensure that everything is safe and everything is healthy and everything is the way it's supposed to be. I'm manipulating my whole body, my intestines, my everything that is still attached to me with testosterone, with hormones. So they need to know the effects. I have never gone. I've gone twice. I've never been a fan of going to these female testings, follow-ups, ever. Twice. And they want me to go to this one, and I guess my problem with that is that there's a lot of, even though externally there's no dysphoria, there's no problem, I just don't, I think it's an invasion, and it's very personal, and I know I gotta get the courage to do it. They've been pushing me, my doctor's been pushing me for now about 8 months to do this, and I will do it, it's just a lot of I guess right now is a perfect time since I'm not currently at work, but obviously today I am, but the rest of the week I won't be. Maybe I'll look into that now that I mentioned that out loud. These are just kind of things that come into my mind. But these are challenges that trans people, and I'm sure men have the exact, trans women have that experiences too, where it's just uncomfortable to have, I'm sure no woman or man looks forward to having their parts inspected, but for us as trans women or men, I'm sure it's even more so because we have to entrust somebody to just do the job without commentation or without visual or verbal prejudice, really. That's what it comes down to. So we'll see how that goes. Real quick, another thing is that my hormones, at my last follow-up 2 weeks ago, I was informed that the hormone itself is constructed of certain elements, like anything else, like any other thing. So I've been on the same one for the entire time I've been on my transition. So this is the first time that my compound has been changed. And initially, I saw a difference in my complexion, where I was breaking out, and it was uncomfortable. But fortunately, I feel like my body has kind of adapted to the change. So that is going well. My doctor, she was like, well, they're doing more research and they're saying that you should be doing 0.5 milliliter every week versus a full one every 2 weeks. And initially I agreed. I was like, okay. She's like, your body will go through less withdrawals. It starts withdrawing after 12 days and you go 14 days. But then I asked her, I said, well, doesn't that mean that on day 5 I'm going to be withdrawing and I'm just going to be giving my body the boost on day 7? And she says, yeah, but that's what they're suggesting, so if you want to try it. But I took it upon myself because I feel like it's been successful so far. I haven't had any complications and my levels are good. So I took it upon myself to just continue to take my dosage the way that I always have been. One, because giving shots every week doesn't sound appealing to me. 2, it doesn't necessarily make the argument that it's going to be more healthy. And 3, fortunately, I don't feel a huge withdrawal by day 12. Maybe day 13, 14, I'm tired, but it's kind of put it out of sight, out of mind. It's mind over matter, in my opinion, in the way I view it. So I don't allow myself to get drawn into I'm on day 12, my hormones are very, very low. I functioned without it before. I can just function just as well. And as long as I'm stabilizing it, I should be fine. So, in 4 months when I go back from my new script, which I have to go every 4 months, I'll disclose to her that I decided to continue to take it the way that I was, just because I was satisfied with the way that it was going and I didn't feel a need to change it to every week. And she didn't make it mandatory, so she said, well, let's try it this way. And it's kind of one of those analogies, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's pretty much what's going on in my world. If anything new comes up, I believe my anniversary is coming up in November for 2 years. If anything comes up, that I think deserves to be documented, I will definitely make another video. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day, and ironically, this is the one day this week that I'm going to be working. So take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Leave comments if you have any questions or suggestions. Thanks.